Hello, so we're all wondering what life is going to be like in the new normal. And I'm here with my really good friend, Dr Penny Moyle, who's been working with lots of organisations. And we've been having a conversation about what the best companies are going to be doing in the new normal. And Penny, I know you've been working with some interesting organisations. What have you been noticing?
Well, if I'm thinking of where we are now as the current normal, perhaps, because we're not quite sure what's happening next. But right now, with us all working from home and trying to keep in touch, obviously communication is key. As much clarity and confidence you can give to your employees about, or your team, about what's going on at work, incredibly important. So in the best companies, and pretty much everyone I'm working with, they're put in a cycle of perhaps the CEO or the MD doing regular addresses for everybody. Best practice is also to then do some follow-up time in smaller groups so people can have a voice, ask questions, chew stuff over, but really trying to create as much clarity and certainty as possible, even though the world's feeling like a quite uncertain place.
Yeah. So can you give us any specific examples of what people are doing that's really making a difference?
Yeah, so this stuff about kind of communicating around the business and tasky stuff, I think most people get that and they're doing it to the best of their ability, bits of rooms around the edges for improvement, but mostly that's going quite well. One thing I've seen in a client I'm working with, and with their permission, this is Denton's, the big law firm.
Yeah.
Their global head of talent, I think is his name, global chief talent officer, Jay Connolly, has instilled a weekly call that's called Next Talent Live. And that's really to attend to the side of things that isn't so tasky and business oriented. It's about bringing people together. Now he's doing it at scale. So he's got a huge organization. And I was lucky enough to be on a call with them last week, and there were 250 people on this Zoom call.
Wow.
Which is incredibly unmanageable. But Jay does an amazing job of making it the kind of call that people will stay up for, because he's covering all time zones, in order to be part of it. So he includes things like, he's developed theme music, Walking on Sunshine, Katrina and the Waves. So you start by getting a bit of upbeat, kind of getting things going. Does some, as people arrive on the call, they sign in using the chat, say, greetings from Hawaii, greetings from Melbourne, greetings from London. So you get a sense of where people are, which I find quite exciting.
Yeah.
Then there's a bit of a check-in with everybody about how you're feeling today. And just everyone's invited to write 1 or 2 words again into the chat.
Okay.
How they're feeling. So some people will be saying hopeful, others might be saying flat, others might be saying excited. So you get that full range of what people are feeling like. And of course in the chat it kind of runs past you quite quickly. But what they then do each time is they capture all those words and create a word cloud, which they show again at the end of the call. So the whole call is about 40 minutes long. So there's somebody in the background who goes away and does that magic so it comes back. And then they can look week on how things are different or similar, or what words are sort of prominent. So that's quite nice. So it's a bit of a temperature check.
I love that idea.
Yeah, and of course you can do that smaller scale, and then you don't need the benefits of a word cloud. You could just be asking people around the table. But this is a brilliant way of bringing together a lot of people. Then the thing that I've experienced with this group, which I think is just amazing, is he uses that breakout facility in Zoom to throw people into breakout rooms of about 6 or 7 people. So you suddenly find yourself in a room with essentially a random collection of Denton's colleagues who could be anywhere in the world. And he sets people off with a task of, think of something positive that's happened in the last week, or think of something from this series that's resonated with you. But just gives everybody a voice and everybody a chance to kind of say something about what's going on in their lives, and to meet some colleagues who they might not normally bump into given they're spread across the globe. And I think that's the part of this call that people are most valuing and give great feedback on. What they also do is have a little guest speaker each time, which is how I got to be involved. So they just have somebody being interviewed by Jay, looking a bit like you and I are looking today, chatting about a particular topic that might be of use to people during this lockdown time. So I was there talking about coaching and self-coaching and those sorts of techniques, and a couple of hints and tips for people. But that has people on emotional intelligence, mindfulness, all kinds of stuff that is just kind of giving them a bit of a hint and a tip with a bit of Q&A there, again, managed through the chat function. I just think it's a great example of the creativity that can come out of this situation. And also something that I think they'll carry forward even after we're all going back to our offices, because it's adding a dimension to their relationships that they didn't used to have in more normal times, or what the old normal we'll call it, when you really just focused on the people in your local city and your local office. So it's some great hints and tips for people, but also a lovely silver lining of what the future might end up looking like for us all.
Yeah, so absolutely fascinating. So they're really using that time to look at the people side of business issues and bringing people together. And it sounds like communication, you said that F word, you know, feelings, and communication sounds like it's absolutely key.
Yeah, and I think it's getting that balance. You know, there's the tasky stuff where we're all in business, but they are all in business together, and you need to cover off your tasky stuff in a business. But it's making sure you've also got space for the more personal, the feelings, the building relationships, the stuff that might otherwise be happening over a cup of coffee or around the water cooler. And working at home, that's not going to happen naturally. So you need to kind of create those opportunities.
Yeah. Penny, that's brilliant. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
Great insights.
Yeah, lovely to be working with you again, Rachel.
You too.